Welcome to Redefining You. I'm John Disterdig.
And I'm Dr. Siobhan Dutt. We're going to bring you the best of sports and activities to keep you healthy, happy, and fit.
That's the reason for Redefining You. Finding you the right activity.
The health that I have now, I owe to rowing.
Whether it's swimming, cycling, triathlons, boxing, skiing, or whatever, we're here to help you find the activity to keep you healthy, happy, and fit.
What's in vogue today is to do whole brain, whole body movements.
Carbohydrate is used for the fuel, protein is used for that muscle strength.
The Head of the Hooch Rowing Regatta is now the largest regatta in the entire United States. In fact, there's people here from all over the world. Let's meet the race director for the Head of the Hooch Rowing Regatta.
Yeah, my name is Daniel Wolf, and I'm the regatta director for the Head of the Hooch here in Chattanooga. This weekend, we're going to have about 9,000 rowers and coxswains here competing in miscellaneous events, and we expect the total number of people in the venue between 15 and 20,000 people, including spectators, parents, coaches, and the competitors, of course. We're going to have rowers from 189 different organizations that are coming to compete here. They hail from 29 different states throughout the country, and we also have rowers from Sweden, Great Britain, and from Canada rowing here. Rowing is truly a lifetime sport. You're going to see here people who are preparing to row at the Olympics or the World Championship, usually youth or college kids. But it's also a sport that can be rowed all the way to a higher age. As a matter of fact, I believe the oldest rower today on the regatta this weekend is 82 or 83 years old. We have people that started rowing in high school and through college and then keep rowing for the rest of their lives. We also have people that start rowing at 50, 60 or 70 years old. They pick up the sport for miscellaneous reasons. It can be because they want to get back in shape, or can be because of high impact sports such as running or bicycling. They want to have a sport that's low impact but still provides a cardiovascular workout that they have. That's why there's a huge influx of masters rowing throughout the country, and here also specifically at this regatta.
Not only is our rowing physician, Siobhan, rows in the mixed quad and others, she's now in a Masters 4 with Megan, Beverly, and Rachel. And they're going to go out and burn up the course, right?
You're going to try.
Let's see it.
I think there's probably as many reasons why people row as there are people who row. I personally am an outdoor girl. I guess I grew up in a small town. I grew up on the water. There's something spiritual about fresh air. There's something more than just getting your heart rate up, about being able to perform sports in a setting where there's physical nature, there's animals, birds, fish. I mean, it's just the atmosphere. There's a whole other level just beyond being on a treadmill in a concrete gym that I find gives me a little more than just a gym membership ever could. For me, it has been the sort of the sanity line that carried me from college through medical school. Now I'm able to do it at the level that I feel comfortable. It took me through early years of raising a family. It was able to mold to my needs at the time. My husband and I have friends that we've had since we were in our 20s, our teen years through college. We've maintained lifetime friendships with them. So many sports are difficult to pursue at an older age, but as you see with participants in races like the Head of the Hooch, you can row till you're 90 and beyond and have a great time doing it.
Well, it's time for my quad race. Siobhan, she'll be racing with me along with her husband Jim and Megan. But before we get in the boat, we've got to adjust these foot riggings for the length of our legs. Your initial thrust is with your legs, and you put all the power, so to make sure these are down tight and in a groove. They fit in a groove is important, or otherwise you can shove the whole thing right out of the boat and you're done for the race. When you get involved with more people, for instance, it might even be a double or the quad I'm more familiar with. The quads are mixed doubles, which means 2 men, 2 women. There's a commitment there. When you've got 3 other people, we've gone out and it's just been terrible weather and even the water's not good, but you've made a schedule, everybody's committed, and you just go out and you train together. But it's a great opportunity to get out with other people, and when a quad is really moving well, you can just sense the power and the rhythm that you get as you're all just working together. And of course your backs are facing the direction you're going, so the first person is setting the pace. It's him or her, usually it's the him, that is actually setting your stroke rate, and everyone else is following that person, and the person whose back is right at the front of the boat, he's steering. Now it could be steering with his feet by pressing on one side or the other to move the rudders, or if the rudder is stationary, he might yell out to everyone, give me 2 port, which means we give 2 hard right-hand pulls. So they're steering, the other one's setting the pace, and the other 2 in the middle are just doing their best to pull as hard as they can pull. And when we get that boat and we're all in sync and that boat is moving, boy, the land is going by fast with 4 people all pulling in sync, and it's a great feeling.
2 males, 2 females. And they get 8.
Well, here's our quad.
It was right on game.
Jim and Siobhan Duff. They're from Canada, national champion rowers, so they set the pace for us. Megan, who's unbelievable, great rower.
Great bow oar.
And I'm the novice, and if you can see my hands here, kind of tore up. That's a price of. But it was good.
Yeah,
Nobody
it was
passed
great.
us. Yeah. The thing about it is, the event is what you work for, but it's the training that gets you in shape. So this is fun, but it's all the training that leads up to this that really keeps you in shape, and you make friends, you do things you enjoy. So this just kind of icing on the cake, really. When we come back, we're going to meet 2 inspiring people who have overcome immense obstacles through rowing. Now, don't you go anywhere. Redefining You will be right back.
A rite of passage, even a badge of honor for most serious rowers at one point or another, are those all too famous hand blisters. When Redefining You comes back, I'll give you some pointers on avoiding, preventing, and treating hand blisters while rowing. So with the nuisance hand blisters, most can be avoided through steady training and the development of calluses throughout the training season. But for the ones that'll pop up invariably on race day, taping, the use of gloves, and also technique. Oftentimes blisters are the result of gripping an oar too tightly.
Welcome back to Redefining You. We like to meet people that have used activities to overcome life's obstacles. Let me introduce you to Nancy Crome. She's from the Indianapolis Rowing Club. She's 70 years old with osteoporosis, and she's used rowing to keep going.
Well, I started rowing when I was 17, 1958 and 59. And I learned to row in Philadelphia on Boathouse Row. I have osteoporosis, was diagnosed when I was in my 40s, and it wasn't until maybe 5 years ago that it became so severe. I never felt crippled by it. However, all of the blood tests show that it was very, very bad, and I felt that I just had to do something, and I really feel as though I owe the health that I have now, I owe to rowing. I was determined to, I am determined to live to be into my 90s or beyond, but I want to live, I don't want to live that kind of life unless I can be on my feet and be well.
So here you are 70 and you're able to compete in an event like this, not only compete, but you beat the youth. And you can do all the things that your mother, of course, couldn't do with a walker, with your kids, grandkids, all the different things.
Yeah, and love it.
And love it, and have a quality of life that otherwise would have escaped you, I would imagine.
And that's been my goal, to do that.
What an inspiring story. You know, it's people like Nancy and our next guest, Ryan, that really show us how important it is to get involved in some activity that enhances our health and fitness. You know, it might save your life. And we know it'll improve the quality of your life. Next, let's meet Ryan Hurd. Now, what an inspiring story. Ryan is also a member of the Indianapolis Rowing Club, and he's kind of the poster child for Overcoming adversity, Ryan lost his left leg when he was just a child, and Ryan has tried all kinds of activities, but he chose rowing as the activity that he got involved in to overcome his adversity and maintain his health and fitness.
It all started when I went into a YMCA and they had a rowing machine there. So I figured that may be a good thing for me. It takes my legs kind of out of the equation and I can focus in a sport that's seated. So I started rowing on that and I really enjoyed it. It was very concrete for me. It displayed meters rowed, counted down your time, and each
Incredible
time
workout too.
it's a great workout.
Yeah.
And each time I got on that indoor rowing machine, I wanted to do better and better and better. So that really fueled me. So I signed up for a Learn to Row class and didn't really do anything different than any of the other able-bodied rowers, but jumped into a boat, learned how to row, and now I compete both in adaptive rowing events for people with physical disabilities or visually impaired or perhaps deaf, but also I compete with the Masters group, which is basically anybody out of college or older. So the important thing is to start small. It's definitely a state of mind rather than a physical challenge. If you believe that you can do it, you can definitely achieve it. So it may be hard when you're first going through a traumatic injury. I know I've had a lot of friends that have lost a leg at the age of 16 or older, and it's a lot of adjustment. But the important thing is to be as positive as you can, get out doing something that you love to do, and stick with it, and keep building that love for whatever activity that you're doing, and keep at it, and don't give up. And I think that's the philosophy that I've had all the way through this, and I'll probably be a rower for life. Maybe we'll meet again on the course.
Wow, what an amazing story. If Ryan and others like him that face such adversity can come through it with such inspirational stories, what can you do? The Concept 2 rowing machine was Ryan's gateway from training to competitive rowing. Let's go over to the Lookout Rowing Club and see the Concept 2 rowing machine and how it provides a total body workout. Okay, on this machine, the great thing is you can monitor your speed per 500 meters. You can see how you're pulling, if you're getting the right arc. What you want is a smooth arc like that. And what you do is you drive with the legs and holding with the shoulders, and then you arch with the back, and then you bring those arms forward. So you're working every part of your body here by extending, pulling, arching back. It's a continuous motion and using all of the body. And that's what they're doing in those boats out there. These boats, these are great training tools for the technique of rowing in the boat. You have to keep a level, your oars have to be level, you can't be dropping and jumping them around, and you have to be smooth. Almost any athletic event you see, someone that's really doing it good is really smooth. If you have something like this that's jumping around, you're not really smooth. You want to come off smooth, have it build, and then drop. Rowing, it may seem something you've never thought about, but after this show, maybe there's a local rowing club you can join. They'll teach you how to get out in the sculls. And if there is no rowing club, I'm sure there's a gym close by, and almost every gym has one of these Concept 2 rowing machines. And like I say, all you have to do is something like this for 20 minutes a day. You start putting in this kind of energy. I guarantee you, you'll get fit faster than you think. Do you know how many calories you can burn on this rowing machine in just 20 minutes? Well, stay tuned. When we come back, I'm going to tell you. So how many calories can you burn in 20 minutes on a machine like this? I'd say between 250 to 350, depending on the intensity. But for sure, it's one of the best overall cardio workouts you'll ever find. Welcome back to Redefining You. Now, when you get ready to do an event, getting prepared and doing the physical side is critically important. But the nutrition, the fuel that you put in your body plays a very major role. Well, we are very fortunate to have Pam Kelly. She's a registered diet and nutritionist and a food coach, and she's going to tell us a little bit about some of that fuel.
Exactly. You know, people train all the time for the different events that they're involved in. And of course, we know how much rowing takes out of your body. The good nutrition plan for an athlete is to look at carbohydrates, protein, and fat. And they have very specific things that they do for the body. So let's talk about carbohydrate first. Okay? Carbohydrate is anything that the sun shines on. So just think about that energy from the sun going inside that plant. So it's going to be all your wheat, it's going to be all the vegetables. So those foods that contain carbohydrate are the straight up fuel that your body's going to be burned when you're in that boat. It's what our body burns. So if you think about a match, if you strike a match, the first part of that match is the carbohydrate. Okay, that's what our body's going to burn first. That's that energy that the body is burning and using during activity. And it's stored in little tiny suitcases in all the muscle fibers of your body. All right? So when you finish the activity, those suitcases have opened and that energy is gone and they have to be replenished. So still talking about carbohydrates, we have to have it before we perform, during the activity, and then when we're finished, so that we can make sure and bring it back into the body.
You don't want to run out of suitcases before the end of the race.
You do not want to run out of suitcases. You don't want them all opened up and emptied, or you've lost the race. You're in trouble. So still thinking about that match, if when it sparks, that's the carbohydrate that we burn for fuel. The match stick would be the protein part. It burns too, but it burns slower and it has a completely different job to do. Carbohydrate is used for the fuel, protein is used for that muscle strength. All right? Strength. Now, when you think about rowing in particular, you're using so much upper body strength, well, legs and upper body, but you're using so much muscle that those muscles are going to tear and rebuild with use, and you have to have protein behind that muscle in order for it to perform.
Rebuild?
Exactly.
Okay, and the last thing is fat?
The last thing is fats. Fat is the thing we need the least amount of because it stays in our system too long. And we don't want our energy to be used breaking down fat and trying to do that when we needed to be doing all these other jobs.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you remember what we first started talking about with plant and the energy in the plant.
Right, the sun.
Yeah, it's the same thing with fats. We want our fats to come from plant sources like olives, okay, and avocado, and nuts and seeds. So all of those things that come from plant provide us probably all the fat that we really need in our diet, and they happen to be really good for us.
So when you have the right combination of carbohydrates, protein, and fats, all working together,
the
performance is maximized.
It's maximized.
Endurance.
Exactly.
Everything. Well, Pam, that's great information.
Yeah, I've enjoyed talking with you. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, well, we'll be out on the water here racing pretty soon.
It'll be great.
Okay, thanks. Before I compete in my single, let's head over to the medical tent for our medical minute with Dr. Siobhan Duff. Siobhan, is there any form of ailment or illness that isn't helped by some form of exercise?
People who have bad knees and bum elbows. I referenced Christopher Reeves after his paralysis, and I was totally inspired by pictures of him exercising at his level of ability when he was in a wheelchair. And I think there's, rowing in particular is although it's physically grueling, it's very forgiving in terms of joint ailments. Swimming is another one where there's not a lot of pounding. So whatever your ailment, there is a sport suited to your condition.
And how about the rowing in terms of the machine, the concept too?
I think that's an excellent starting point for people wanting to get into the water aspect of rowing, because there's no issue of danger or falling into the water. It gives people the basic biomechanics of how to actually perform the mechanisms of rowing. And it's an excellent low impact, low injury prone form of exercise.
From a physician and a rower, you've probably seen a lot of people come into your office who don't exercise and the impact that has on their life.
Well, exactly. I mean, every life affected. If I have a young mother who has sort of gotten herself in a position where she's exercising, that's going to impact her children. That's going to impact her whole family unit. It's sort of the ripple effect, and there's not any age or stage. People come to me with all kinds of reasons why they are fearful about activity or what they should and shouldn't do. there's from birth, cradle to grave. There's some, you see them out here, John. They're 80 years old. I mean, there is no, and they're 10 years old in this event particularly. There's no age or stage of life at which some form of physical activity does not enhance your quality of life.
Siobhan, that is great advice. Everyone can find a place that helps them.
John, 5 minutes. You gotta go.
I got my race. Personally, I really enjoy the singles. One reason is I don't have to schedule with anybody, depending on the weather or, even just how I feel. To me, it's an escape. It's usually an hour to an hour and a half out on the water. There's no phones. There's no one comes up to give you information or talk to you about anything. You're just away. You're in the elements. You're enjoying the outdoors. Just that whole motion of sweeping through the water and just watching the land go by in the water. To me, it's, I don't know, just getting back to nature. When you get back to the world that has so much tension and stress, to me, it just really helps. It's a great opportunity to just get out in nature. I've even been out there where a fish has jumped so close to the boat, I thought I was going to jump in the boat. It jumped right over next to me. It's just one of those experiences you have when you're out on the water. Well, I just found out in my single I got 4th place, which is okay. You always like to get the medal, which would have been 1 more place, but 4th is good. Overall, I felt pretty good. It was a good row. It's a great exercise, and it's a great way to make friends and to keep yourself fit. So you've learned something about rowing, and of course we want to get you involved. Now next week it might be triathlons, or swimming, or walking, or running, kayaking, whatever it is. But you stay tuned, because we're going to show you how to get involved in some activity that's going to enhance your health and fitness, and then we want you to pass that knowledge and information on to your loved ones, kids, grandkids, because we want to see activities back in the family lifestyle.
Go!